Plenty of them on the peninsula as well. Begg and Rendell get things started. Stoddart's an important returnee to the lineup. It was...
Try and change the angle of it as much as possible, and as a last resort, take the longer option.
Barlow chips, but it was so easily cued. Huswaite back to McInnes, exactly what Frankston don't want. 13-6 for Reef McInnes in 7 VFL games coming into the trip to Frankston for the first of the day. Shapes it through. Huswaite, Carmichael, Allen, they flipped it around by hand to release Begg. Back with the flight goes Grant, safe hands. Palmed it to Stoddart. Someone's got to do something about Bianco from a Frankston perspective. Draper to Ryan, the South Aussies combine, and a third one in Murley takes it in the long sleeves. Murley wants to bring it a little bit more centrally. Ooh, there's a bobble from Ed Allen. Not quite Mitch Stark for the 5th wicket last night. Outside of the boot from Allen. Williams versus Steen. Tom Wilson stayed down. Snaps deep. McInnes versus Grant. Door ajar Richards. Too easy for Joe. Inboard at the spill was Ryan. Jeddah worked the kick free of the Williams attempted smother, and that'll have too much on it for Tom Wilson, who played his 150th VFL match last week, kicked 2 goals in the victory over the Sydney Swans. He has been a wonderful acquisition for Collingwood's VFL side, and they're 4 and 5 deep here at Kinetic Stadium today. The Pies can attract a crowd. A lot of people travelling or on the Gold Coast to watch them last night in the AFL, and why not? They are box office at the moment. McInnes, the banana!
Truck assist replay, look at this, getting on the move from the stoppage, good clean hands, and what a super finish. He's got 2, and right from the opening bounce, he set his intent to the rest of his teammates with some really strong tackle works.
Whether it's by their own hand or that of Lady Luck. Wilson inside 50. Johnson now gets his look.
That was far too easy. He nods his head.
Sean Manor type numbers. We'll talk about the Tigers win yesterday a little bit later on. McRae got it forward to Kruger. Wilson. It's a punch in the face. Carmichael got back to his feet. Ginnivan's in there. Got through the feet of Quirk. It's flicked out eventually by McRae to Tardrew to Carmichael, and everything is coming up Collingwood. Today's 16th VFL game. The confidence is rebuilt with that kick.
How do you make sure that you do those basics better?
I think it's just simply spending an extra half a second over the ball. Yeah, we're just being a bit fumbly, and you know, we actually do have time, so just spend that extra half second and be a bit more cleaner.
Kai, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
He's spot on with that answer.
Bianco from a standing start to Murley. To go for something a bit too cute. Kelly did well to scoop it up, gave it to Allen. Overlap now from McRae, just pummels the handball forward for McInnes, who finds space. He's been deadly so far today, and that's 3 for Reef.
Goal of the day for the pass replay. Didn't take possession of the ball. We just spoke to Kai Owens. He was speaking about the Frankston players, just having to spend that extra half a second, that they do have the time to spend the half a second to a second to make sure they get the ball cleanly, and that's exactly what Reef McInnes has shown. And the finish, unbelievable.
He's kicked 3 of the 6, and clearly the most dangerous forward out on the ground. That was brilliant, that finish, the whole passage of play. 3
in the VFL for the 3rd time this year. From the Pie number 26, Davies hunting after it against Huswaite. Owens back into the action, diving hand pass. Lambert received from Quirk, inside 50 ball for the Dolphins. What can they conjure here? Riley, Butland, Sibkowski are all there. Got just over Fordham's outstretched hand. Barlow laid out Murley behind play. Collingwood clicking to gear. Richards takes the mark. He can share with Tom Wilson. He does. And Williams' chase will be a forlorn one. Comes out the front again for the Pies. Richards, Wilson elects to kick. Steen got through his hands. Naina trots after it. It sits up, and Murley was there to halve the contest.
There's a few of them. Wilson's doing this perfectly, getting forward of the footy, but they're not guessing. They're not rolling the dice and guessing. They know a split second before their Frankston opponent that they're about to win it, and then they start hunting forward, and that's where the space is coming.
And they're playing the conditions really well, the predictability, knowing your teammate's just going to knock it on or push it forward.
Kruger spun free. The highlights continue for the Pies.
More so the Collingwood defender coming forward to close down the handball and turn the ball back over.
We don't want to
create the stoppage.
Labour the point, but efficiency-wise, this quarter, Collingwood 83%, Frankston 59%, and that sat at about 45% only a few minutes ago. Oscar Steen, half forward. Hand in there from Begg for McRae. Off to Carmichael. Saloon passage to goal. It's a green carpet right now for Collingwood.
In those situations, they just fought through the tackle and got the ball forward.
Jacobs trying to remove the tree stump, but there just wasn't enough torque in the ute to pull it out.
Call an arborist.
Huswaite, McRae. He's been devastating.
Another huge afternoon from Finlay. McRae continues. The pass replay shows another goal from a forward 50 stoppage. They're just getting far too much space.
That's the one. He's in the Dan Houston spot, but he's on his wrong side. A good decision to find Butland, who can potentially be the man to break the ice for Frankston.
He'll take his absolute best. He's capable, though.
15-14 for the season for Josh Butland. He kicked 5 here in the 2017 Mornington Peninsula Grand Final for Frankston YCW. He knows the dimensions, he knows what it takes, and he provides. For Frankston's first goal, Owens battling manfully in the ruck. Tom Wilson's had some sort of second quarter, gave it to Draper. It bounced over the head of Smith and Johnson. Richards paddles forward. Owens to Fordham. Missed the target of Stoddart, who then has to pressure Draper. Support comes from Roseby. Stoddart went looking for Fordham. Backing out of things was Draper. Cleverly to Huswaite. He'll try and shape the left foot ball to the advantage of Ginnivan. Johnson, this way, that way, unselfishly finds McInnes, the most casual fourth you'll see. So Ash Johnson trying to join the party. 9 in the second for the black and white stripes. Bailey Lambert to start the engines for Frankston. He does.
It's getting, you know, shouldn't miss this. Brownie, talk me through the...
No, he won't miss this.
Oh, it didn't look great.
Enjoying his VFL debut, the 19-year-old from the Calder Cannons. Wide for Jetta, who shows Lambert a clean pair of heels.
That was exquisite. Just fingertips over the top of the Frankston defender.
To date in the third, Josh Carmichael with 2 of those 9 goals for the Pies in the second. Has the leverage and the accuracy to find a third. Chance to get involved. It sits for him neatly. He pops to Steen, who had separation from Marotta and the mark.
That's really good discipline, because Jack Ginnivan hasn't had the best day in terms of...
In the last month, to square the ledger at 2 goals apiece in the third. Steen Julie delivers. Davies into the ruck for Frankston. Begg over the top of Jacobs. McRae to Steen. Can try and turn provider here for Richards, and does.
From the big man. So in this quarter, he's taken a mark at the top of the square and kicked a goal.
Crafty player taken straight out of Wangaratta in the Ovens and Murray League. Joins the multiple goal kickers for the Pies. 3-2 to 2-2 in the quarter so far. Becomes 4-2 McInnes with 5, and Collingwood, after conceding the first 2 of the quarter, every Collingwood player, Jack Ginnivan included, gets to Reef McInnes after his effort. The match unfolding between Casey and the Giants. Pies pick up from where they left off late in the third. Richards to Johnson for McInnes.
The one consistent theme for the Collingwood forwards today has been just how unselfish they've been. To a man, Johnson, Ginnivan, Kruger, when he's needed to be, have all first instinct given it to a player in a better position.
Yeah. Reef McInnes has had the look of a player from the early minutes of this game that he's just thought, this is my day. It's merely a matter of executing. For 6. Oh, yes.
Good performance.
Riley brothers combine and send it into attack. Fly will come from the back, and it's marked in front by Williams.
Nonchalant.
Who's got to look at a second as we go to Will Fordham, who's put the headset on for us down on the bench for the Dolphins. Will, it's been a hard afternoon, but I guess the key takeaway is going to be the response in the first 15 minutes of that third quarter, correct?
Yeah, definitely, mate. Obviously extremely disappointed in that first half. We knew they were going to handball it around a bit, and our pressure just wasn't up to scratch. But yeah, this last half's been a lot better than the first, and all we can do is really just keep putting that pressure on the second half, and hopefully
really been second fiddle to the Reef McInnes show. Ginnivan deep.
Great kick.
Wilson out the back on Smith. 18 for the Pies. And there it is. A complete performance from Collingwood. 95 points the margin in the end. Reef McInnes, the star of the show. He kicked 6 of Collingwood's 18 goals. They led by 23 at quarter time, 71 at the half, 83 at the last change. And in the end, it is a 95-point belting. Big thanks to Michael Barlow and Campbell Brown for their work this afternoon. Collingwood to 7-5 on the VFL season. Let's send things to Alice Springs for Melbourne and the Giants. Here's Brian Taylor.